So I was sitting with my mom one day when I saw her scrolling through Etsy looking at industrial shelves, and I saw the price tag and I was completely blown away. So I told her that I could make one for a fraction of the cost and have it be whatever dimensions she wanted. And that's what I'll show you in this video. I began this project by assembling the wall mount, which consisted of 3/4 inch galvanized pipe that was 10 inches long, a 3/4 inch flange, and then a 3/4 inch end cap. I cleaned the pieces with Lysol wipes and then applied some metal primer to them, followed by a couple coats of Rustoleum hammered black. I cut down two 2x8s to be a rough length of 64 inches, which would give me enough material to work with before cutting it to final length. I took an edge off of each 2x8 so that I could have a better gluing surface, and then found the best way to orientate the board so that the seam would be hidden once it was glued up, and then spread out a good amount of wood glue. It's okay to have drips here because you'll see later that I sprinkle sawdust over it, which can be easily wiped away once the glue is dried. I added a 2x4 to the bottom of my table saw so that I would have a better clamping surface when I was planing. I've never really used a hand plane before, so it took a little while to tune in the settings on the plane and then to figure out the best way to go about planing, but seeing all these really fine shavings in the end was really satisfying. I then cut down one side of the board, which would be going against the wall, so it didn't really matter on the thickness. I then set my fence to be the same width as the exposed galvanized pipe from the wall mount, and then cut that to final width. The final length of the shelf ended up being about 61 inches. After making the final dimensions on the wood, I was able to move on to the finish. I started by applying a couple coats of pre-stain, and you want to apply this thick and then wipe it off after about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I followed that up with some dark walnut stain. The pre-stain kind of balances out the moisture in the wood, and it's supposed to alleviate splotching. I then moved on to a fast-drying oil-based polyurethane and then applied a couple coats of that, sanding in between each coat. Since the shelf is going to be seen from the bottom, I started each step of the finishing by doing the top, flipping the board over, and then making sure that the bottom would be the nicest. I apparently purchased the wrong type of brackets to mount the pipe to the shelf, so I had to add about an 1/8 inch of material to the bottom of them. As with almost every other house project, this project got delayed significantly. I had finished making the shelf around Christmas time, and it turned out to be a Christmas present for my mom. And now it's April, and I just finished putting it up this weekend. So I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry for putting it up so late, Mom. I hope you like it, and I hope that everyone else likes it as well. As always, thank you for watching. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to leave them in the description down below. Have a good one.